Yeah. Too much? Probably. Alright, I know we're still getting to know each other on this channel, but let me be clear. I am not trying to edit things. So what I'm doing, that's real. Because going and clipping little bits out, not gonna happen, not here. But welcome back, y'all. Life with Tyra Elin, life, lessons of inspiration and full evolution. Things that I have learned that I'm just sharing with you. Come get it. All right, so it's been a day. Y'all like ties in my hair? Trying to keep it colorful, you know? Because when it's cold outside, like, it's cold outside. Who has an attitude to really be happy about the cold? I try to be. So this is my way. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. These are clip-ons, courtesy of my grandmother, R.I.P. lady. I love these. And I love the color yellow, by the way. You know what I find so interesting about life, about things that happen, especially when they're inconvenient to me, is that regardless of how I see an inconvenience, I'm truly bumping into the plan. The plan of whatever God desired in the beginning. That is usually annoying to me, but beneficial as well. And I think about how in times of our life, we are forced to deal with our brokenness or our unhappiness or, just face the funk. Address the elephant in the room, right? Y'all be having to deal with that? The question is, do you deal with it? I know we should, but do you? And it made me think about how I have to love the brokenness, right? Love the brokenness so much. My mirror. Okay. Love the brokenness so much that I want to fix it. Excuse my dogs in the background. Again, not editing. So how many of you all love your brokenness? Now I'm getting all discombobulated. Love your brokenness enough to fix it, to address it. So when I say bumping into a plan, I think back to the famous COVID, the pandemic. Exciting time in some people's life. That's when I bumped into my brokenness on complete accident, right? Obviously, there were many concerns about health. There were concerns about finances and job. And I was just looking at it as like, oh, what we finna do at home, working from home for the next few months. And so for 6 months, I worked from home, did content from home for the NBA. And it was fun. We didn't go anywhere. I laughed at my kids. I have younger kids, so they're pretty entertaining. God bless them. I will talk about them on this channel many times. And going through the process, I realized the severity of brokenness and how I define it as being distant from God and His plan. Because I'm so in love with my own plan and my own ways, right? And I had to realize that I was broken in the midst. I remember reading a journal entry from March 9th. And I was just really overwhelmed with life. Driving back and forth for work was an hour and a half. I didn't really get to see my kids. But I was finding the gratitude in it all. I wrote, I have to drive an hour and a half multiple times this week, but at least I have a car. And not being able to see my kids, but I have a big family that can support. And just trying to live in the space of gratitude. Although I had realized that I was unhappy and stressed out and overworked, there was a greater plan in my mind. I had not gotten confirmation necessarily in the ways of executing from God. And so it provided an area of brokenness. But I was still trying to find the gratitude and trying to live in the now and experience what I thought was from God at those points, which I still think it was in alignment because I learned some big lessons. And in that gratitude and understanding that I wasn't at my happiest space when COVID happened, the first 6 months was really exciting and I had all these revelations. And then life got serious because it was like, oh, we still in this. I thought by fall we're going into another season. There would be some shift or some change or some understanding, and then there was none. And so I just found out I was pregnant again for the third time. And that was exciting because I felt like I had fully released control of what my plan was, but it was always also nerve-wracking because I didn't know what that was going to look like. What was having a baby during this pandemic going to be? But I embraced it. We were traveling. My husband made sure that we had some great adventures during COVID that I enjoyed. And in the midst of that, I knew that I wasn't going back to the NBA. At this time, I had been furloughed. And I felt like my life and what I had planned was slowly unraveling, but I was okay at that moment because I was still in the honeymoon phase of trusting that what God had shown me would come to fruition. I just didn't know what the journey would be like. Like, I understand the goals over there and I have to go through this maze, this boot camp to be made, but I don't know what the mental capacity is going to be like on this journey. And so a few months later, my position was terminated, which I knew it was coming. I just didn't know how I would feel about it. And so I went through that and found the grace again. And it was like, well, I'll figure out what I'm going to do after this baby is born. I was applying for jobs a little bit just to keep my ego fresh, right? I worked for the NBA. Like, what? I can do anything I want to do. And I got a pretty good job, an executive director job. And I remember having anxiety, right? Another level of my brokenness being revealed for a whole week. And I was like, pause, hold on, what's happening? And the moral is I didn't move forward with the position. And then I kind of started looking around like, wait, what's really going on here? What are we talking about? And this is when it gets real. When the brokenness is revealed and you have to love, this process and this journey that you're going through. I'm like, okay, God, what am I supposed to do? That silence y'all just heard, that's what I heard. And so I did that. And after I had my baby girl, Ava, it was even more difficult to do that because it was all uncertainty. Not to mention the chaos that I had to, all the chaos in my head and the elephants in the room that I needed to address that always exist, but I was so busy that I didn't have to address, whether it was with my family, my husband, my kids, all of that coming to fruition. So it was a moment. It was a real moment. My safety net that I had created had officially been cut. And I was in the water, trying to tread water in the ocean for hours and hours and hours. And it's not the fact that you can or can't swim, because even those who swim can still struggle in it. It's the mental capacity to hold on in the midst of the uncertainty. Whew. Holding on, huh? And so the moral is I go through that season, and I go through multiple other seasons since COVID. And I've learned that loving the brokenness helps you get through the journey, not avoiding it, right? And how easy it is to avoid or try to escape it or try to numb it. But how finding the grace through it all and finding the gratitude through it all and holding on and standing despite of how you feel or how things look actually gets you to the next season. It gets you through that obstacle in which you're enduring. Which, gratitude, pure gratitude. I still need to wash my face. These makeup wipes are just the first step. Acknowledging your brokenness is the first step. But you still got to go clean your face with some face soap or water, however you do your routine. And so I just want to give you 3 things in getting through a time of when you feel broken, crippled, hindered, whichever word you want to insert in there, but you don't feel whole or complete. Because we go through seasons of that, and it won't be the first, and it's not going to be the last. And so my step 1 was letting go. Letting go of the vision I had, letting go of the job, letting go of the plan, and revising it with God. not on my own, not in my own vision, because I worked in the NBA because I knew that there would be unlimited amount of opportunities, which came to fruition. But were those opportunities for me for that time and for that season? Probably not. It worked out. Lessons learned. It's not the end. But again, it wasn't the right timing. The next one is just understanding your relationship and your time with God. Have you made room for Him in your life? So as life happens, because it happens every day, people offend you every day, people hurt you every day, do you have the peace and the understanding of knowing who you are in God to keep going forth and letting life reveal itself? Because boy, did life reveal itself for 2 years. Not only my truths, but the truth, other people's truth, and navigating that took the hand of God. Because my flesh needed to submit. And you have to practice that. You have to practice. That's the third thing, just practicing what you believe in. So when you're put in a position to win, you're put in a position to thrive, you won't fall short by the ways of the world or by the ways of your flesh. You'll stay in grace. You'll stay in your morals. You'll follow your own ethics despite what other people are doing, because the NBA is a beast, and I think I navigated it pretty well. But was I strong enough to navigate the next level if I hadn't built my relationship with God and gotten closer? Not with religion, where, that gets muddy, but with God. And so in loving your brokenness, you have to embrace all of those things. And you have to own the journey. You have to own the journey. I'm going to say it one more time. You have to own the journey, because it is. It's like boot camp. But when you win at the end, you go through something that was hard and you was like, man, the storm, man, the strength it took, man, the moments of being weak, man, I almost died. At the end, you're like, woo, how I'm doing that to my hair. That's how you'll feel. And that's how I want you to feel. And in feeling that freedom is what loving brokenness is. But that's all I've got, my tidbits. Life with Tyra Elin, lessons of inspiration and full evolution. Don't forget, it's a journey. Evolution. So don't be too hard on yourself. Until next time.